Hello everyone, my name is Dave Evans. I'm the founder here at LoveAdmin. Over the next few weeks, our goal is to help you guys stay in business by showing you some of the tools that are available on the system and how they can potentially generate you revenue through these difficult times. Last week, we did a webinar on how to provide content, online lessons to your customers. So those customers, we were assuming that they will continue to pay you over the next weeks and months, and it was all about delivering value for their contribution towards the club. Some clubs, however, aren't quite so fortunate, and they're no longer able to charge for their class fees. So we're going to show you how you can use the system here to charge for online classes. Okay, so don't get too lost in the detail. We will provide a step-by-step guide afterwards. So if you feel like I'm flying through a little bit, I'll try and slow down. Yeah, we'll follow this up with some documentation. So what I'm going to do first of all is show you the classes that I've set up for online payments. If I come over here, classes. So I've set these ones up here. So we've got preschool, we've got some rec ones. I've divided it up by age, but you might want to do it by some other means. You might want to do some squad ones. You might want to do it by discipline. You might want to do it by, I don't know, strength and condition or stretching, whatever it is, however you want to slice and dice it. If I come in here, click on edit, I'll just show you some of the settings. I'll only talk you through the relevant ones that we've got going on here. So we give it a name, we put in the cost for the class. I've set this up to be a recurring monthly fee. I'd recommend that at this time. Recurring monthly revenues over the next few months will be, I'm sure, greatly received. I've put in the cost, it's £20. I'm going to ask anybody that's signing up for this class to pre-authorize payments to the club. That means every time the system comes around to collect it, we can collect it automatically. Here, we're not going to display it on the registration page. You can do, but I suspect this is really just going to be for existing members. We can say who can sign up for this class. So I've just created a group called Gymnasts and put everybody in there and said, look, anybody who's a gymnast is very welcome to sign up for this, where are we, the 6 till 7 group. It might be that you only want to let people within some of your existing classes access this particular 6 till 7 group. Down here, what we're saying here is when people pay for this class, do you want to move or copy them to a new group? Now we're going to take advantage of this functionality, and here's the reason why. If somebody goes online and they register for this class, either via the app or via the web interface, it's possible for them to register themselves into the class and then not pay for it. Now, we are only making this content available for people that do pay. So when they pay, we're going to copy them into a group called Rec age 6 till 7 paid, and we'll only be exposing the content to people in that class. After people are added to this class, display the form in their online account. Yeah, sure, we can do that. Email template's not really relevant here. So those are the settings for the online class. Next thing I did was, if I come over here to contacts and groups, in actual fact, I say the next thing, I actually did this before I set up the class. These are those paid classes that I was talking about. These are the ones that we're going to be copying people into once they pay. The settings on these are pretty straightforward. If I click on edit, we're not going to display the form in the online account. We're not going to allow people to register for it, and we're not going to limit the number of people that can be added to this group. So very much just an internal group for our own organizational purposes. Okay, so those are our groups. Next thing, right, so with everything set up, we've got our classes set up, we've got our group set up, then we get into the content. So this is about publishing the online classes which you guys are going to be recording. So if I come over to settings and content schedule, click on add new content. Now quite a few of you won't have seen this functionality. This is new functionality. We hadn't released it widely until the coronavirus outbreak, but now seems as good a time as any to open it up, because you guys are going to find this particularly useful. So if I click on add new content, we can put in a day and a time that we want the online class to go out. So this is where you're going to be recording your classes. They're going to be 30 minutes, 40 minutes long, whatever it's going to be. And you're going to say, yeah, okay, I want that to go out at Monday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The format, so once you do record your content, you're going to upload that to YouTube, and you're going to put in that YouTube URL into here. Now, we might do a session on YouTube uploading, creating unlisted videos, if that's of help. So you give it a title. So this would be your I don't know, recreational 6 till 7 online class, and then maybe you put a date on it, Monday 23rd. A description, if you want to put a description, and then who you're going to publish that to. So we're going to publish it to everybody that has paid, everybody that's in this paid group here. Now, if I come over here to content schedule and review content schedule, so as you add your content, it'll all be queued up here. This is one that I published earlier on. So I gave it a title of Home Gymnastics, age 6 to 7, Monday 23rd of March. If I click on edit there, I can see I gave it a bit of a description, and I selected what group that was going out to. Okay, so this is where you're going to be publishing those online classes. Now, to back up those online classes, you can set what you would like gymnasts to do in between each class. So think about, what is it that they can practice on? What skill did you cover in the class? And then we can select what they need to practice between now and the next class to master those skills. So we do that over here under settings and development program. Now we have already preloaded all the BG proficiency awards, all the BG awards into the system. It may be that you want to follow those. It may be that you don't. It might be that you want a hybrid of some of your own ideas and some of their content. You'll find plenty of them in here. So if you are maybe intending to carry on doing the BG proficiency awards, but maybe only ones that are appropriate for home practice, then you can come in and you can make some edits. But let me just show you how these are made up. So a development program is made up of levels and skills. So if I click on this one here, the BG, you'll see, I'm sure you'll be familiar with badges 8 through to 1. And if I click into the skills, you can see all those skills that make up that level. So if I click into here, for example, front and back support, click on edit. So we can give a skill a description. We can abbreviate that description. So think about when it's going onto a phone, onto an app on the phone, you've not got quite as much real estate. You can upload, as I say, a YouTube video. We're not recommending you guys upload movie files directly to our servers. As I say, this is a new service that we're offering. We don't want thousands of 50 gig video files on there, might impact on system performance. So please, if you're going to upload YouTube URLs. And then down here, you can put what it is they need to practice to help achieve that skill. So this is a front and back support. So we've got a couple of things they can practice. We can put in the practice frequency. We can put in the practice time. And again, we can upload a YouTube URL to support that. We can, if I just click on plus here, we have a different type of practice as well. So we have something called sets and reps. So if you're maybe doing some physical prep work, or it's some stretching, you can select sets and reps. You can put in the frequency, the number of sets, the number of reps, the weight. We will shortly be adding body weight onto this, rest time, and we have something called credits. So when the kids practice and they can record their practice via the Love Gymnastics app, they get rewarded credits. Now, for things that are time related, the credits relate to the amount of time they spend practicing. But for the sets and reps, you can determine how many credits they should be rewarded for that exercise. You can just come in here and select. Okay, so that's a development program. I've just created a basic one here for recreational home gymnastics. Just put in some generic level 1s, level 2s, and then put in the skills. But you'll be able to do all this yourself, very easy just to follow. When you create a development program, it will just step you through. Okay, so we've done our content schedule. We've pushed out the online classes. We're now supporting it with the development program functionality. The next thing to do is set it when you want those practice sessions, or sorry, that practice information to go out to the gymnasts. So if you come over here to contacts and groups, If I come into my paid group here, I've got 13 people in there. I just select them. And you see here that I've set up these column headings to show me what they're working towards, what they're working on, what skills they've completed, what skills they've achieved, and what levels they've achieved. So this will automatically be updated as you start to use this feature. Okay, so if I come in here, I'm going to select everybody. I'm going to deselect Mia because I managed that one earlier. Okay, so if I come over to actions, and then you see here, update level working towards, update skills working on, update skill achievements, and update level achieved. So the first thing you need to do is update the level they're working towards. So you can select it from your from the development programs that you've enabled. So I'm going to select that one. I could select multiple levels, so level 1, level 2, so they can work on multiple levels and multiple skills from multiple levels. If I click on OK, if I need to, I can come here and deselect individuals. If I click on update level working towards, then it will bring back, these are all the skills for the levels I selected. And I can just come down here and I can select that they're working on this one, they're working on this one. And as I do that, if I click save, what would happen is that information would then be passed through to the app. So on the app, we have a timeline. Think of it as a bit like a Facebook timeline, if you like. So when you mark off somebody's working on it, it will send a link through to the YouTube video if you've loaded one up so they can watch it. And if you set what they need to practice, then it will have details of what they need to practice there as well. So you can just click on save and that will schedule that to go through. Okay, so I'm actually going to, before I jump over there, just a couple of things to show you that you need to think about from a setup point of view. I'm going to come over to settings and account. I'm going to scroll down here. And there's a section here called Enable Timeline For. So we don't enable the timeline for anybody by default. It's down to you guys to decide who should be seeing the timeline. So all your classes, all your groups will appear here. So you can see that I've only enabled it for my paid groups. So you need to enable it there. One thing to be mindful of is that if you are over here and you're creating groups, then if those groups, if you want those groups to if you want those groups to receive information on the timeline, don't forget that you need to come back over here and make sure that they're selected down there. Okay, all right, so we've set up our classes, we've pushed that content out, we've set up our development program, we've marked off the fact that people are going to be working on levels and skills. Let me show you what that looks like on the app. So I just need to switch the share over to my phone. Okay, just bear me for a few moments. It can take a moment or two. Okay, so here's the app. It's called Love Gymnastics. If your parents haven't already downloaded it, I recommend that you prompt them to download it. So personal details, basically everything they can do via the web application, they can do on this mobile application. But the bits that we're going to focus on here right now is the classes. So if I click on classes, what you'll see here are the different classes that we made available earlier on. So I can come down here and select this one here for me. Click on next. It will load up a little form for that class. You can decide what that form looks like, but I've just got first name, last name, and email. You'll see there at the bottom there's a statement. If you can't read it, I'll read it out for you. It says, important. After registering and paying, you will need to log out of the app and back in to activate the timeline. This is where your online classes will be published to. So if you haven't already enabled the timeline and you haven't put people into groups where the timeline was available, then they are going to need to do that. They're going to make the payment, they're going to log out. When they log back in, the timeline will be available, and that's where they're going to see the content. Okay, so when I click on save, that will navigate them through to the payment page where they can come in here and they can select Now, if your members are pre-authorized already, so that's fairly common for gymnastics clubs, maybe they were already paying monthly for their fees, they wouldn't need to do anything. As soon as they register, the system would just start the process of collecting payment. If not, then they would just select on Pay Now, and that would then link through to your payment provider, be it PayPal or Go Cardless. So once they've made that payment, they'll get copied to that paid group that we set up earlier on, and then that timeline will be available to them. So if I click into the timeline, if I just click through, I'll scroll to the bottom. So right at the bottom there, you'll see that we've got recreational home gymnastics age 6 till 7, Monday 23rd of March. So that's the one that I scheduled to go out earlier on. They're going to be watching that, might be 30, 40 minutes long, whatever it might be. And then we set what new level they're going to be working on. So if you remember that, we went over to contacts and groups, selected them, went to actions, and updated the level they're working on. Then we updated the skill they're working on. So that video of that skill then gets published so they can watch that. And then what it is that they need to practice to achieve that skill. So if I click on that first one there, it says here, this is what the video is. So it will just show you what they got to do. It says practice time for 5 minutes. If I can increase that, I can put it up to 15 minutes or whatever it might be. And then when I'm done as a gymnast with my practice, I just click on I'm done, claim reward, and we have just this little fun spinny thing here, just a variable reward, so it's not quite as binary as minutes credits. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. So, okay, yeah, it was status quo. Okay, so they've been awarded 15 credits. So if I go to the timeline, so that was me recording my first practice. If I wanted to record the second one, I would just click on that other thumbnail there, and that would take me through. But you can see that I've been rewarded 15 credits. Now, if I just come back over here, go back to the timeline, you'll see now that here Mia has got those 15 credits. And if I click on that, it will tell me when I earned them. And if I click through, it will tell me what it is I did to earn those credits. So I've just put a generic skill 1, practice 1, but you'd be a bit more detailed. So this becomes a bit of a parenting tool. So the more they practice, the more credits they get. So kind of that whole effort reward ethos that we should be encouraging. And as they're building up their credits, it might be that they want to spend an hour on the Xbox, and the parent comes in and says, right, have you done your practice? Yeah, I've done it. And you can see in there, right, okay, so you got 15 credits. Okay, it's going to cost you 15 credits to get on the Xbox for an hour. And then the parent can come in here and they can put in, or they can type in here, 15, and then they can put in the reason why they're deducting the credits. So it's a neat little parenting tool. It doesn't necessarily have to be gymnastics. They can use that for any chores around the house or anything like that. So yeah, that's the app. Now you can publish other content to the app. It doesn't just have to be online lessons. So we have put together a spreadsheet. If I just switch the screen share back, bear with. Okay, you should be able to see my screen again. Okay, good. So where was I? Okay, yeah, you can publish other content. So again, just use that content scheduling tool. We've put together some content here that we're happy to make available to you. Some of this is just our own proprietary videos that we recorded for the BG Proficiency Awards. So you can use some of this. We've also aggregated a load of third-party content. So all these videos here, there's over 100 of them have been watched by a member of the team here at LoveAdmin to make sure that they're appropriate. We've put in what type of video there are, the name, the description, whether what ages it's for, whether it's gymnast or the coach, and the duration. But you guys ultimately are responsible for what you push out there. But there's just some resource there for you. So that's it. So people will be able to sign up. They can the system will just collect payment like it does for you, and then you'll be able to just come into your your payment reports as per normal and just check to see who's paying and who's not. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. As I say, we'll follow up with a little crib sheet of what I've covered there, but I think there's some useful functionality that you can take advantage of. Certainly, if your income has completely stopped and you want to offer some value to your members in return for payment, I think we've got the tools to help you. Okay, good. All right. Thanks for your time. Stay safe, and we'll catch up soon.